Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Ella Berries Africa. In our today's class, we are going to be learning how to make this two-piece set. Yes, it's going to be a very interesting one. So if this is what you want, please stay tuned to the end. If you are a first-time subscriber, you are welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, I really appreciate you. Please don't forget to turn on the notification bell for more interesting videos. Thank you. So guys, for today's tutorial we are going to be needing our tape, our ruler, our scissors, and our chalk, of course, and our fabric. Our fabric is just a shirt fabric, that's what we are using. And I went ahead to fold my fabric with the measurements, the hip measurements. The measurement we are using is our bust 44, waist 38, shoulder 16.5, hip 45. I made a mistake, it's supposed to be 45, and the length is 28. So to fold my fabric, I just went ahead and divided my hip by 4, and I added 2.5 inch because the looking at the style, the top is a free top. So I also, this is the front part. I also went ahead to add 3 inches. Yes, this is the 3 inches here. So I added 3 inches and I fold in these 3 inches. That's the first step. And these 3 inches is for what? Is for the button and the overlap. Because it's a shirt, so it's for the button and the overlap. So from here now, I'm going to go ahead and rule a line as my starting line. I'll go ahead and rule a line as my starting line. So we are going to be cutting the front and the back panel together. So this is for the front panel. I'm also going to do the same thing with the back panel and then come back and join it together so we can cut it at once. That is my method of cutting out this style. So I already went ahead to fold my back panel. I did the same thing. I divided the hip by 4, and I added 2.5 inch for this. I added 2.5 inch for this, and then I just folded it. After adding the 2.5, I did not add any 3 inches because the back doesn't have a button. So I'll go ahead and lay out my back panel like this. I'll lay out my back panel like this. I'm going to lay out my back panel like this. Then the front, I'm going to bring the front and also lay it out like this. With my 3 inches on the front still folded like this. So just like this, the first step is for you to slant it. You measure your neck your shoulder and then slant it. The shoulder is 16.5 divided by 2 is 8.25. We are going to add half inch to that, so that will be 8.75. So mark it here, 8.75. So on this point here where you have your shoulder, you are going to slant it. So you can slant it by 1.5. Yes, this is for a female, so you can go down by just 1.5 or 2 inches. Better still 1.5. So we slant it by 1.5. I think that's okay. So we use our ruler to drag this like this, to extend it like this. So this is it. We'll go ahead and trim this off. Trim it off. So this is it. So remember, for the length of my front, I just added 2 inches. Yes, I just added 2 inches for the length of my front when I was cutting it the first time. Sorry I didn't tell you guys that. Then for the back length, I extended it. I added more because the back is supposed to be longer than the front panel. So with this now, we are just going to go ahead. The back could be 4 inches longer or 3 inches longer. For mine, I went down by just 4 inches longer. The back is 4 inches longer. So now, after we must have slanted it, we are just going to drag this front panel to the hem of the back panel, just like this. Drag it down. Make sure it's properly kept. So after doing that, we'll go ahead and mark up off ½ inch on the front shoulder, just like this. You measure ½ inch on the front shoulder. This ½ inch is actually for the joining, what we use in joining the front and the back shoulder. Yes. So after that, we just go ahead and fold this in. Go ahead and fold the back panel to meet the front panel where we have the 2 inches, where we have the ½ inch. So we'll just fold it like that. Let me use this book to hold it down. Just like this. So guys, you see what I'm saying? So with this now, we can now go ahead to mark up our points. That's the next thing. We're going to mark our points, our vertical measurements, and then our horizontal measurements. So from here, we can go ahead and measure our armhole. We're going to be using for a bust of 44. You can go ahead and use 9 inches as the armhole point, the bust point of 11 inches, and for the waist point of 16 is okay. The waist point of 16. The hip is 24. You can go with 24 or better still 25 for a hip of 44. So we are done with marking our points. So we are going to go ahead now to mark the rounds. So for our shoulder is 16.5. So measure our shoulder here. We'll go ahead and measure our shoulder here. Measure our shoulder. Our shoulder is 16.5. We'll divide by 2. It's going to give us 8.25. We'll go ahead and add ½ inch to that 8.25. On the chest line here, we are going to, instead of marking 8.75, we'll go and mark 8.25, sorry. So use our ruler to join that like this. And then we'll make our armhole curve. You can use your armhole curve to do this. but I prefer using my hand, yeah, because I get almost the same thing. So with this now, we are going to insert our chest measurement, our bust measurement. Our bust measurement is 44. 44 divided by 4 is 11. Yeah, is 11. So I'm just going to go ahead and add about 2.5 inch to that, and I'll extend the line like this. Extend it like this. Yeah. So for the waist is 38 divided by 4 is 9. On the waist, I'm going to be adding 3 inches. Yes, add 3 inches because it's free. So I added 3 inches on the waist like this. And I'm going to join that line to this line. Then on the hip, I also divided by 4. My hip is 45. And I added 2.5 inch on the hip, making about 15. So 45 is 11.25. 11.25, yes, plus 2.5 inch. So this is what we got. And from that hip line, we are going to go ahead and extend the line down. Just drag it down like this. Just like this. I'm trying to arrange it. So just like this. And then on the hemline, we'll go ahead and just curve it a little bit. Just curve it. There's no sign of curving, but I don't want mine to just be straight. So you can just go in here by 1 inch. You go in here by 1 inch and just make your curve. There's really no curve on that end, but I just want to make my own curve. Just like that. So with this, we're done with marking the rounds. So we are going to work on the armhole. On the armhole, the front and the back armhole is not supposed to be the same. So with this, we are going to go ahead and mark the midpoint from this point here to here, the chest line. Mark the midpoint, which is 4. On that 4, we'll go in by 0.75. And then from here now, just watch me what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and join it back to the shoulder tip like this, just like this, and then this, and also join it back to this, just like this. Very, very simple. So we are done with working with the armhole, and right now we are going to work with the neckline. We are working on the neckline. So I'm going to go ahead for the neckline. The neckline is about 17, though I didn't get that here. The neck round is about 17. So for a neck round of 17, you can go ahead and use a width of 2.5. A width of 2.5, or yes, 2.5, and then a depth of 4.5. A depth of 4.5. A width of 2.5 and a depth of 4.5. So I'll go ahead and just make my curve. You mark here 2.5 like this. You make a curve here, just like this. And on this point you also make a curve, just like this. So I'm going to go ahead now and then cut this neck round with my scissors. Remember, while cutting, don't pick it from here. No, do not pick it from here. Make sure you are picking from here, the first layer. Just look at the way I'm going to do it. So So I didn't pick from here, I picked it from here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. My fabric is a little bit shaky. I'm just trying to adjust that. So this, you are going to cut this away like this. Yes. So we are done with cutting the neck. So go ahead and cut out the armhole and the bodies. So we'll start by cutting out the the back armhole first, just like this. Cut out the back armhole first. So this is what we got. So please go ahead and notch this part. Go ahead and notch this part. Hmm? So from that notch part there, that is where you use in cutting out your front armhole like this. So this is actually for the front armhole. I think we should go in a bit even further because to avoid the sagging, to avoid any form of sagging. So with this, we are done with cutting out our shirt, and we are going to go ahead and cut out the sleeve. So guys, right now we are going to go ahead and cut out the sleeve. For the sleeve, her sleeve length is 24. Yes. So I went ahead and folded my fabric using 9.9, sorry 9, using 9 inches. You can fold yours with 10 if you want, but I folded mine with 9 inches because I don't want it to be too big. Yes. So from there I'm going to get the length. For the length, notice from the start that there's a flare. That flare wasn't attached, it was just formed with an elastic. You just go ahead and put your elastic around where you want it to start from. So I'm going to, because of that flare there, for the flare to puff up a bit, I'm going to add more to the sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 more inches. That 3 more inches will serve as the hemline for the hemming and also for the puffing of the flare. So instead of marking off 24, I'll go ahead and mark off 27. Or even 28. I think 27 should be okay. So I'm just going to go ahead now and just make my sleeve cuff. I have a detailed tutorial on how to make the sleeve cuff on my channel, so if you are interested, you can I'm going to drop, you can chat me up or leave a comment on the comment section so I can drop the link to that for you. So I'm just trying to see if this is up to the armhole sec, that we have. So I'll go ahead and make it even steeper. Good. So with this, we are done with drafting the sleeve. We're not going to be shaping anything. We're just going to go ahead, use our scissors to cut this out. Then I'll show you how to form that fillet. So this is it. This is the hemline for our sleeve. So you can go ahead and come up on that hemline to form that fillet there. You come up on that hemline by how much you want. Like me, I would like to go up by, let's say, 6 to 7. So on that line there, on the line there, you mark this all round, even to this line. Then you insert your elastic to form that fillet. You just simply insert your elastic. You can see we have formed the fillet. So you insert your elastic sheet. Sorry, you sew this part here with an elastic. I think a half-inch elastic will do. So it's going to form that fillet. As you can see, the fillet is already forming already. So that was how we achieved that fillet. So this is for one sleeve. I'll go ahead and place it, fold my fabric again, and then place it and cut for the second sleeve off camera. And then I'll come back and we'll cut out the neck round. So for the collar, we are going to go ahead and mark off our starting line here. This is our starting line. So after that, my collar, my neck round, the neck round of my client is 17. You divide that by 2 to give you 8.5. You mark it off here. You roll it like this. For my collar stand, I want to use just 1.25. That's what I prefer using. So I'm just going to mark that like this. I'll go ahead and extend it to this point. And then on this angle here, I'll come out by half an inch, just like this. And from there, I'm going to make my curve, my shirt curve. Then from here now, I'm going to come out by 1 inch, like this, 1 inch, and then I'm going to extend that line up. For the collar, I'm going to be using 2.5 inch, like this. From that 2.5 inch, I'm going to come out by about 1 or 2 or 1.5 inch. I think 1.5 inch is okay. So from here now, you join it to this point here. Join it to this angle. So since you marked off 1.5 here, you are going to go ahead and come down here. Sorry, 2.5 here. We'll go down here by 1.75 like this. So we are going to go ahead and join it. Then on this point here, you are going to, because your neck is not straight, you go in by half inch and then join it to this other end. So I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors to cut this out. So with this is what we have for the collar. So we'll go ahead and cut it on fold. On our fabric, we'll fold our fabric and then cut it on fold. So next we are going to move ahead to cut the short pants. So guys, for this video not to be long, I went ahead to fold my fabric and mark my vertical measurement of camera. So what I did to fold it, I just use my hip. My hip is 45. My hip is 45 divided by 4. That's my client's hip, sorry. I divided by 4 and I added 5 inches to fold it. Then I went ahead to mark out the points. So for the points, I marked off my hip points, which is 10, and then my crouch extension is 14. I got this crouch depth. Yes, I got this crouch depth by sitting on a flat surface, flat stool. So and I added 1 inch because it's a free pant. I added 1 inch to that to give me 15 inches. So for my length, I dragged this tape up, took away. I'm supposed to take 1.5 because my band is 1.5. So, but no, I took off only 1 inch because I want to use half inch for joining. So this is 19 inches for the length, and then I added 2 inches for the hemming allowance. So that's how we got to this place. So for the crouch extension, for my crouch extension for a hip of 45, I usually use 3 inches for the crouch extension. And I draw that all the way to this and to this. So I'm just going to make my curve, my crouch curve. You go out here by 1 inch. Go out here by 1 inch. Then you make your curve. Just make sure that this curve here is not too deep, so that your short doesn't pack. So that's it. So on this point here, I'll go ahead and go in by half inch. It's a free pant. Either you go in by half inch or you go in by 1 inch. Just like this. And then on the waist here, you can curve it a bit. You can just go in here by, let's say, half inch. You can go in by half inch like this. Then you join it to the hip line. Yes, just like this. So with this, we are done marking our pants, our front pants. We are going to go ahead and cut it out and then use it to mark our back pants. So go ahead and open this up. Then on this part here, we are just going to go in by half inch because our waistline is not straight. We're just going by half inch like this, but we're not going to cut it out now. We'll go ahead and fold our fabric again. When we are cutting the front back part, that's where we'll cut that out. So guys, we went ahead to fold our fabric. Yes, we fold our fabric again, and then we place the front panel on the fabric. So leaving out 2 inches on the upper part. This is for the boot rise. This one is for the boot rise. Yes. So depending on how big your bum bum is, you can use 1.5, 1 to 2 inches. Then on the crouch extension here, we went down on the front crouch by 1/4 inch, and then on that 1/4 inch we measure 2.5 here, and then we join the points with a line. Then on this point here, I'm just going to measure 1 inch. I'll come out by 1 inch, and then I'll join these 2 points with a ruler like this. That's it. So on the upper part here, I'm going to go in on this front waist by 1 inch like this. I'll go in by 1 inch. You can also go in by 2 inch depending on what you want. You can go in by 1 inch. So I went in by 1 inch, and now from here I'm going to lift this up and draw my back crouch extension. So I'm going to draw it like this. It shouldn't be too big. So we are drawing it to meet this line. That's the most important thing. Yeah. So now that 1 inch that went in, we are going to replace it here. So we are going to replace it on this side. We are going to replace it on this side here, 1 inch. And next we'll now join this point and this point with a ruler like this. You can see what I did. Yes, just like this. And then on this part here, we are just going to also come out by 1 inch. We already have the 1 inch here. I'm also going to come out by 1 inch, just like this. Yes, on this part, we came out by 1 inch too. So we are going to go ahead now. I'm going to go ahead now and use my scissors to cut it out. So this is what we got for the back and front panel. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my band and fold this way and make my band. But that will be done off the camera. For the pocket, it's just a simple pocket. It's an inner pocket. It's an inner pocket for the trouser, for the knicker or short pants. It's an inner pocket. So we can use this to cut out the inner pocket. So what I folded was just a random fold. I just folded this, which is 8, and then the width is about 12.5 inch. I'm just going to come down on one end here and make a curve like this. You can start anyway in making it. And on this end here, I'll go down by half an inch, sorry, by 1 inch. I'll go down by 1 inch, and then I'll join it like this. So I'll use my scissors to, this is for the two pockets. I'm going to be using my gum stain to cut out my pockets and my band. So we forgot to trim off this. That's for the front panel. We forgot to trim off this. Trim this off. There's that half inch that we came in by. The half inch. So we are going to go ahead and trim it off now. Hope you guys can see what I'm doing. We'll go ahead and trim it off. This is so that the waist can relax perfectly. So with this, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. If you want a detailed tutorial on how to sew this, please leave a comment on my comment section. So I'll gladly pick it up from there, and I'll be glad to also answer your questions.